Hey, what's up guys, Jeremy here. In this video we will start exploring the curve follow project and its feature. Let's get started. To get started with this module, we have two examples. So either 10C Motorman training dispensing or 10C UR training dispensing. As I said in the previous video, those are pretty similar. The only difference is like which robot we're using. So it will depend on your preference for either cobots or industrial robots. So if I open, let's say the 10C Motorman, you will see here we have a Motorman GP7 dispensing tool, a part and a table. And if I go here and I open the 10C UR training dispensing, you have pretty much the same thing. Instead of having a GP7, you have a UR10E. But apart from that, everything is exactly the same. So I will go back to the Motorman 1 here in this case. Perfect. So let's take a closer look to our part here. So you can see here we just have a flat part with a bunch of grooves in it. And we have some black lines that are visible here. So those are the path that we will have to follow. So for this module, I will kind of skip a step. In fact, I'll skip two steps. I won't show you how to build the station. So this is part of module 2. So if you don't know how to build your station and you want to learn how to do that, I will recommend you to go back to module 2 and learn how to create your station in RoboDK's environment. And we will skip the part where we actually import or extract the path. So there's four ways in fact of extracting the path. So you can either import it from a set of data that you created. So either a text file or a CSV file. You can extract it directly from RoboDK. You can you can import it from a supported CAD software using our plugin, or you can import it as a G-code. So in this case here, we'll skip that. This will be covered in the next module. So follow along, learn how to use the curve follower project. And in the next module, I will show you how to actually create the path or the paths that we are using here. To make things a bit more simple, I voluntarily kind of splitted the part from the path here. So if I, let's say, make the table invisible, I have the part here that I can make invisible, and we still have the path here to follow. So this is just in this case, a way to make things a bit simpler. In certain situations, both will be just merged, and that's perfectly fine. So either method are right. I have to admit that I have a tendency to split them, so that gives me a bit more flexibility down the road, but that's very a personal preference, honestly. So if I make that visible again and bring back the table, so just we have something onto for the part to rest onto. Okay, so if I bring my mouse near the path, you can see that there are some white lines or white arrows, in fact, that are popping. So this is very important. So those are the points that compose the line. So a line or curve here is just a bunch of points kind of linked together by RoboDK. So in this case here, to create a straight line, I could have just had a point at the beginning and then a point at the end. So that would have worked perfectly. Or in this case, I can have here a bunch of points. The arrows that you see are what we call the normals. So keep that in mind. Every time I'm talking about the normals, I'm talking about the white lines here. Those represent where the points are and the direction of the z-axis, or in fact the invert direction of the z-axis of the robot by default. We can change that later in the settings, but by default this is where the z-axis of the robot will be pointing. Cool. So if you think that they are a bit small and you don't see them properly, like I do like to have them a bit bigger than that, if you press plus on your keyboard, they will increase in size and decrease in size if you press minus. But as you know, it also affects the reference frame, the tools frame, and the targets. So that can be a bit problematic. But if you go to tools and then options and under display, you can change a normal size. So if you upgrade that size here, it will simply kind of change the ratio between the targets frame and tool frame with respect to the normal. So by the way, you can do the same with the reference frame size, the path reference size, the tool reference size, or other reference in general. So I will go for, I don't know, something like, I'm gonna take a guess because I don't know here. I will go for 30. If I go 30, they are that big with respect to the frame. I think it's still a bit small considering the frame. So I'll go back to display and I'll go maybe for 60. Click OK here. And now they are big enough, but they are a bit too big for my liking. But if I press minus to reduce the size of the TCP and the frame, now that makes a bit more sense. Also, if you select the lines, they will get a bit bulkier, if I can say, a bit more bold. But if you don't select them and you find them hard to see, you can go to tools and then options, and then under display, you can go for display curve size, and let's say you can make that 1 here. I will go for 1 for this example. Here I generally leave that at 0.5, but here, as you can see, it's more visible. I will go for 0.75, I believe. Okay, so that's kind of in the middle. Perfect. So now we have to create a curve follow project. So sorry, I'm looking at my notes real quick. So if you go to utilities, you will have curve follow project. So if you open that up, it will bring you this window here. So this window will be where you spend most of your time, I would say. So here at the top left corner, you have to select which robot you want to use. So in this case, we only have one robot, so that's not very difficult to select. Then you need to select the reference frame. So in this case, we only have one reference frame selectable. You might say, that's weird, we have 3 reference frames. That's true, but you can't select the base reference frame of the robot. You need to have a specific frame somewhere here. If you don't know how frames work, we have a tutorial especially on that subject. And then you can't select frames that are the parent of the robot. You need to select frames that are either at the same level as the robot or child of the robot, but I would highly recommend only using frames that are child of the robot. So that's just a good idea to have the points or the values calculated properly with respect to the robot base. In this case here, as we're using a Metalman robot, the robot base is considered along the first the axis of joint 1 at the height of joint 2. For most robot, if you're using the UR robot, the robot base here is at the bottom of the physical base of the robot. Select the tool here. In this case, we only have one tool, but if you had more than one, you can select the right tool. Okay, then you have here approach and retract each curve. We'll talk about that later in the video in this module. Operation speed, same thing regarding speed of the process. You can then here select your curve. You can here add an approach and a retract motion. Program events here will help you pick some, activate or deactivate the tool at specific times. So if you click on this one here, you will have a new window. We will discuss this window later. Path to tool offset will help you modify the orientation of the tool with respect to the path. So I told you here that by default, the tool will always be kind of pointing normal to the in fact, pointing in the opposite direction of the normal, the z-axis. So you can change that here. Here, select algorithm. We have multiple ways of following the path. So either minimum tool orientation change, tool orientation follows path, robot holds object and follows path. So we'll discuss that in a video of this module. Here, optimization parameters, how to avoid singularities, joint limits, reach limits, and stuff like that. Super, super important. Preferred joint for starting point. So what kind of configuration you want? Do you want to have elbow up, elbow down? Do you want to have the axis 4 flipped or non-flip? Here, update, simulate once you're ready. Select curve here, obviously, to go and select the curve. So if I select that here, I'm going to show you quickly in this video how to do that, but we'll discuss that more in detail in the next video. So if I just go there, you will have this window here appearing on your left side. I would recommend you to unselect the auto extract curve for now. We'll use that in the next module, so make sure that it's not green. And then you can go and select here the first the first path here, and you can see we have now a green line on top of the black line, and we have a bunch of small arrows showing you the direction of the path. So from point 1 to point 2, if you press plus or minus, these arrows will also adapt in size, if I can say. Now if I click done, here I have my path is highlighted in green. If I select the path here, it will be kind of highlighted in cyan instead, just to tell me which path I have selected if I have many of those. Then if I click update, I can click, it will give me a green check mark if this path is feasible. If I have a red check mark here, I can show here, or I can look here, sorry, for the error message showing me what's going on. It might be something like the two main error messages you'll see is like impossible to reach the first point or something like that. I can't remember the exact message, telling you that the first point just can't be reached in any way. So you need maybe to change robots, change the part position, change the orientation of the tool. There's different remedy to that issue, or that the path can't be completed. So that might be because of a reach limit during the path or singularity during the path or stuff like that. So we'll discuss that later. So if I go and click simulate here, the robot will start and move along the path just like that here. So don't worry about the small rotation it did here. I will explain you later. So if I go move here home, perfect. Okay, cool. So don't worry about that. I'll explain you what's going on in a future video. This is a super useful feature, but if you don't know how it works, it might be a bit confusing, I have to admit. Great. So that's pretty much everything for this video here. Oh, the only thing here is, you see, you have path 1 settings. So this is the curve follow project. So if you open this one here, this is the curve follow project, and just underneath here you have path 1, which is the same kind of program you would generate if you were to click here on path 1, and with all, it will run here, and this is the one you can right click and then generate robot program for. Okay, great. So I hope it was helpful. In the next video we will talk more about how you can select the curve. We have some tools to help you select the curve easily and like more efficiently, if I can say. So this is what we'll cover in the next video, and then we'll continue build our knowledge towards being able to create a full program in a few minutes or a few seconds using that feature. Hope to see you in the next video. In any case, have a great day, guys.